It was the year 1929. Balan was now 13. He had enjoyed a good childhood. The aunts in the house pampered the boy who had lost his mother at a young age. Although there was one aunt who was known to be really strict and even caned the children if necessary. The father, happy with his son's performance in school, gave in to his every desire. At school as well, Balan enjoyed a special status since he was the son of a district judge. Balan's childhood was also steeped in rituals, worship and tradition. Long hours of puja every day, strict rules around it, the frequent baths, all of this had their impact on the child. The inevitable happened. When he turned 13, Balakrishnan began to rebel. He began high school at the Maharaja's College, where he quickly became a less respectable student, playing pranks on the teachers and constantly giving them a hard time. He made his close friend Shankar do all of his homework. In return, he paid for Shankar's school books and even his school fees. After school, Balan rarely stayed at home. The street corner hangouts with his friends was a regular pastime. Shankar would remember. He would give these extempore discourses, launching into any subject at random, not knowing where to begin or where to end. He would imitate people really well, and this would send the boys into peals of laughter. He began to ridicule rituals and rarely went to the temple. But with all this, he had a serious side, as Shankar would say years later. He seemed to have a double head. Mostly, he carried himself with a who cares attitude, but there were moments when he seemed to have a deep depression. At those times, he would question life, question God, question the meaning, the purpose of existence. The final exams came too soon each year for this unenthusiastic student. He did not do well. He would end up changing his major from science to liberal arts when he entered St. Thomas College in Thrissur to pursue a bachelor's degree. It was that summer, just after completing his high school, Balan decided to roam about South India by taking advantage of a railway pass. As the train steamed slowly through the countryside, most of the passengers in his compartment moved towards the window and started to pray towards a large hill and the temple at its base. It was the Tiruvannamalai temple. The passengers started to talk about Sri Ramana Maharishi. The word Maharishi intrigued Balan. Although a convinced atheist, he was deeply drawn to visit the Maharishi's ashram. He took the next train to Tiruvannamalai. In a book called Face to Face with Maharishi, on page 226 is Swami Chinmayananda's personal narration of his account of what happened next, and I read. After a long walk in the burning hot sun of Tamil Nadu, I finally arrived at a very large thatched hut. Upon entering the room, I was blinded as my eyes began to adjust to the dark interior. I saw the backs of people sitting, I saw some space at the front, and I made my way up to it, and I sat down. I slowly looked up, and to my surprise, I saw there was a human form on the platform, wearing nothing but a loin cloth. As my eyes travelled up, they reached his face. His eyes were closed. At that just exact moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and looked straight into mine. A mere look, that was all. I felt that the Maharishi was in that split moment looking deep into me, that he knew everything about me, even things I did not know myself. I was sure that he saw all my shallowness, my confusions, my imperfections and fears. I cannot explain what happened. In that one split moment, I felt opened, cleaned, healed, and emptied. And then he closed his eyes. I sat there for some time. I really don't know how long. When I became aware, I forced myself to get up. I shook my head and said, "Nothing happened to me. It's all mesmerism, my own foolishness. This man is a hypnotist." And thus assuring myself, I got up and walked away. Gurudev's writing continues. But the boy who left the hall was not the same boy who had walked in a few minutes before. After my college days, my political work, and after my years of stay at Uttarkashi at the feet of my master Tapovanam, I knew that what I had gained on the Ganges banks was exactly that which had been given to me years before by the saint of Tiruvannamalai on that hot summer day, by just a mere look. This narrative provides a rare glimpse of Gurudev talking about his own spiritual experience. It also leads to other thoughts. There were many that lived in the Maharishi's ashram. Did they not have such an impact like the one that Balan had? How about the hundreds if not thousands who met this Maharishi, even briefly? Did some of them quietly achieve sainthood? Perhaps the intensity of the Maharishi's impact on a person depends on the readiness of that person. Balan was perhaps already at a point in his journey where he was ready and tuned in for such impact, although he didn't know it at that time. On page 225 of that same book, Swami Tapovan writes a similar account of his meeting with Ramana Maharishi, which we shall come back to in a future episode.
Hari Om Namaskar. We are sure you liked the video. For more such amazing videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel and do not forget to press the bell icon.